It only took a revolution around the earth and for the year 2020 to end for the Washington Wizards to record their first win of the season. That's right. We somehow beat the Timberwolves. We did it, guys. We can pack it up. Beal's not leaving. It's WizWatch. I am going to try and talk about the Wizards all season, so that's going to be fun. I'm a fan of this team. Somehow, after all that's happened. And we are now currently 1-5. We did it, guys. We're not 0-6. Scott Brooks is going to keep his job. So, this is just kind of a rough start to this. But, yeah, I'm jumping in after 6 games. So, here's my notes from the Timberwolves game. And this is stuff that I record while I'm watching the game. Raul Neto has to be the first guard off the bench. I am sick of watching Ish Smith drive into the paint, kick it out to Russell Westbrook, who drives it into the paint, who kicks it out. Oh, it's a turnover, and basically nothing made of that offense, which that's a whole nother ball of terrible fun. Oh, great playmaker, can shoot, can get assists, and basically help space the floor, and is playing well. So any rational coach would not bench him the next game when Russell starts. Hopefully we don't do that. And speaking of guards, please let the 3-guard lineup die. It needs to die. It should have never even happened because our guards are not big enough. We don't have Ben Simmons sized guards. We have Raul Neto, Ish Smith, Russell Westbrook. They're all like 6 foot. And like Russell is 6'3", and it's not a matter of playing harder, it's a matter of playing the right rotations. And too many times we have played the wrong rotations, which completely kills any momentum we have. So yeah, it'd be crazy if we just stopped doing that, because we might just have a better chance of winning games. Despite Brooks saying be patient, we haven't seen Garrison Matthews play. We have also not seen Isak Bonga play suddenly. Now, they did actually get some run after this game was like out of hand. And for once, it was out of hand in our favor and not out of hand because we just found a creative way to lose. Because Wizards are really good at that. But yeah, it's really weird because Isak Bonga is one of our statistically apparently best defenders. Garrison Matthews is one of our best shooters. And for some reason, 2 things that you would think be beneficial are not beneficial. Instead, for some reason, Brock, that is the joke about Jerome Robinson, but I wasn't about to reference him just yet. I was going to say Brooks likes to run Jerome Robinson a lot, despite Robinson making consistently bad plays or just destroying our momentum completely. It's not that he's a bad player. I don't think he's bad. I just think, again, with our rotations, this makes no sense. You're supposed to run things that help the team win, not make us lose. So yeah, maybe we should just run our good defensive players and our 3-point shooters, because seriously, I don't get it. And yes, our defense does remain atrocious despite this victory against the Timberwolves. Don't let it fool you. Our defense is still bad. Thomas Bryant, he's not a starting center. And I'm really hoping, I'm crossing every finger I can, that Tommy Shepard did not turn away centers that could have been good for us defensively, could have been like some form of rim protection, because Thomas Bryant somehow had earned that starting role in his eyes. I'm really hoping that's not the case, because if it is, it's just, are you serious? Are you sure about that? Because Nasri was basically lighting him up. His aggressiveness, as Drew Gooden put it, his aggressiveness is really he's really aggressive. Yeah, but like in a comical sense, like every time he flails, I get worried. Or anytime someone throws him the ball, I think he's gonna bobble it like 3 times before he actually does anything, if he doesn't lose the ball. But yeah, basically, Thomas Bryant, not a starting center. He'd be great as a bench big, though. Immaculate bench big. Not a starting center. Rui, he was very aggressive, but oh my god, he could not hit a layup to save his life. And he did pick up a couple fouls, but sort of, I think he's just, easing back into it. Again, sophomore year also was out, and that's the classic excuse lately has been, well, it's a weird year, and then injuries and no training camp and all that good stuff. All the good stuff that makes up a normal NBA season is not necessarily available at the moment, so it makes everything weird. And my last note, Denny Advia. Oh my god, great player, but I feel like he's being underutilized because he is definitely a good playmaker, and I feel like this is a problem that just shows with, again, our coaching and maybe our drafting, because we keep picking up these wings that can play make, because like Troy Brown Jr. is basically a point guard, but we keep signing and drafting point guards. But yeah, no, Denny Avia, love his shooting, love his defense when the refs are not calling BS fouls, because oh my god, sometimes he has his hands up and he's getting them rookie calls, and I hate it. I cannot stand it. Can't stand it. But yeah, shooting's great. His defense is great. I think he could definitely be a playmaker. And though we do have him start, I don't see why we can't throw him in with the bench unit every now and again instead of doing that atrocious 3-guard lineup that literally makes every Wizards fan want to turn in their season tickets. Even if they didn't buy any, they just want to turn them in because that lineup is awful. It's atrocious. Don't run it. Don't run it. Even though the Wizards did pick up a nice little blowout victory against the Timberwolves, it's important to remember context. The context of this victory includes the fact that Minnesota Timberwolves center, star big man, Karl-Anthony Towns is out with a dislocated wrist. Not only that, but Josh Okogie is also out, and if the Wizards' porous defense is anything to go by, especially in the front court, Cat probably would have at least turned the tide of this game, if not made it slightly more competitive. Because basically this game was over after the third quarter. We went into the third quarter and it was somewhat over, but knowing the Wizards, it's not easy to trust them. The Wizards also played without Russell Westbrook. Kind of an important guy. Gets like triple doubles and stuff, which can be cool, but like everyone's kind of sick of hearing about him lose, not gonna lie. But yeah, he's been a positive force for the Wizards in every game he played in, so hopefully people won't try to use this as an indictment against him and more look at it as, the Wizards were really desperate for a win because they'd lost 5 straight games before this. And last but not least, my favorite moment from this game, before I go, the cradle will rock. At one point in the game, Beal scores his tough and one over vaunted number 1 pick Anthony Edwards, and he turns to the bench, excited, smiling, something that's really rare to see. And he looks at Russ and he kind of does Russ's this baby rock celebration that Russ had been pulling out when he started posting people up about, I think, like either his last year in the Thunder, he started doing that. It was just a nice little moment. I smirked a bit. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. The stars are, aligning right there. Cool. So now that that game's over, we've had our fun. We have to look forward to next game, which is tomorrow, 5 o'clock. We're going to be facing the Nets, one of the potential finals contenders. They got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. There's 2 guys that can score really well, even against good defenses, and we're not even a good defense. And Russ probably will be playing, so he might get a triple-double, but I would hope I'm really hoping that somehow we can try to just not get our butts kicked. Just at least that. And if the battle with the Hawks is anything to go by, we might be able to win the game if we score more points. And like if we just have an offense battle with them, and maybe Kyrie just shoots like crap for like 3 quarters and doesn't go off in the last one, we might be able to do it. But basically, yeah, the Wizards have to do things that they're normally not good at. So I have a bad feeling we're going to be 1-7, but I will be pleasantly surprised if we are 2-6. I'll be cool with that. 2-5. I am really bad at this. Really bad at this whole math thing. Can't do it. So yeah. Done with the WizWatch. Done with watching the Wiz. I will hopefully we'll talk to you next game, after the next game. Well, this guy says, let's go torch the Nets.